I caught my girlfriend cheating on me with my best friend, but I didn't scream, I didn't fight, and I didn't kick anyone out. Instead, I made a plan that destroyed both of their lives. My name is Ethan. I grew up in a small American town, around 30,000 people, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. That's where I met Rachel. We were kids, like 6 years old, and from that moment on, we were inseparable. At 16, we started dating. At 20, we got married. Yeah, I know, young, but it felt right. By 22, we had our first house, and not long after that, she got pregnant. It was a boy. Everything in my life finally made sense. And then, everything collapsed. 5 weeks before her maternity leave, there was an accident at her job. A storage system, something that should have been replaced years ago, collapsed. It crushed her, and my son. I was told they died instantly. 2 of her co-workers were also injured. One ended up paralyzed, the other lost his leg. And the worst part, the company knew the equipment was unsafe. They just didn't want to spend the money. They called it compensation. I called it blood money. They wanted to settle quietly. Avoid court, avoid attention. I wanted the opposite. I wanted them to pay. The case went public. Politicians got involved. Media picked it up. 3 years later, the company was fined. Executives were fired. Some even went to prison. And the compensation, almost 10 times higher than what they first offered. But none of that brought Rachel back. Nothing ever would. Around that time, I threw myself into work. I was in telecommunications, traveling a lot. Eventually, I got promoted, but it meant even more time on the road, so I asked for a transfer, back to my hometown. That's where everything started again, and where everything fell apart for the second time. A few years passed. I wouldn't say I moved on, but I learned how to function again. Work helped, routine helped, and eventually, I went back to my hometown. That's where I reconnected with Harry. We grew up around the same circles, but never really close back then. That changed after I came back. He was now the regional manager at the local branch where I worked. Confident, outgoing, the kind of guy everyone liked, including me. I trusted him. One Friday, after I got back from a work trip, he walked into my office and asked a simple question. "Hey, you busy tonight?" He was throwing a small party at his place. Nothing crazy, just a few people from work. Normally, I would have said no, but something in me just felt tired of being alone. So I said yes. That night, everything changed. That's when I met Catherine. She was new, just moved to town, still figuring things out. We started talking, and it just clicked. You know that rare moment when conversation feels effortless? That was us. And here's the part I still don't fully understand. There was something about her, something familiar. Not in a creepy way, but in a way that made me feel calm, safe. I'm not saying she was like Rachel. No one could ever be. But for the first time since losing her, I didn't feel completely empty. We kept seeing each other after that. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. 2 years later, she moved into my house. The same house I bought back when my life still made sense. And surprisingly, everything worked. She got along with my parents. Even Rachel's parents accepted her. That meant more to me than anything. Because if they were okay with her, maybe it was okay for me to be happy again too. For a while, it really felt like I got a second chance. But then, little things started to change. At first, it was nothing. Shorter calls, weird timing, small inconsistencies, the kind of stuff you notice, but choose to ignore. Then my neighbors mentioned something. They said they'd seen a car parked in the alley behind my house, more than once, late at night. They described it, and yeah, it sounded a lot like Harry's car. When I asked Catherine about it, she didn't hesitate. Said he sometimes stopped by to talk about work, that it wasn't a big deal, that he never stayed long, and I wanted to believe her. So I did. I told myself I was just being paranoid, that after everything I'd been through, my brain was looking for problems that didn't exist. So I let it go. I kept working, kept traveling, kept acting like everything was fine. But deep down, something felt off. And 6 months later, I found out I was right. About 6 months later, I found out the truth. I had just closed a major deal out of state. Everything went smoother than expected. So instead of staying a few extra days, I booked an early flight home. I didn't tell Catherine. I thought it would be a nice surprise. Looking back, maybe part of me already knew. A few hours later, I was driving through my hometown. Same streets, same turns. Nothing felt different, but something didn't feel right either. Instead of pulling into the front of the house, I drove around to the back alley. I don't even know why. Maybe curiosity, maybe instinct. And then I saw it. A car, parked right behind my house, blocking the back entrance. At first, I thought it was just some random neighbor. People park there sometimes. No big deal. But as I got closer, my stomach dropped. I recognized it. It was Harry's car. For a second, my brain tried to explain it away. Maybe he stopped by, maybe something work-related, maybe I was overthinking again. But it was late. Way later than he ever said he stayed. I parked a little further down the alley, sat there, staring at the car, trying to convince myself this wasn't what it looked like. Then I got out. Every step toward the house felt heavier, like my body already knew what my mind didn't want to accept. I reached the back door, and that's when I saw it. Through the kitchen window, Harry and Catherine. I'm not going into details, but there was no misunderstanding. No maybe. No doubt. It was happening. In my house, on my kitchen counter. And just like that, everything went quiet. No yelling, no anger, no dramatic reaction. Just silence. I stood there for a few seconds, maybe longer. I don't even know. Time didn't feel real anymore. My chest felt tight, like I couldn't breathe. And then, I just turned around and walked away. They never saw me. I got back into my car, closed the door, and just sat there. At first, I broke. I'm not gonna lie. I cried. Hard. Not just because of them, but because of everything. Rachel, the life I lost, the fact that I let myself trust someone again and ended up right back in the same place. But then, something changed. The sadness didn't last long. It turned into something else, something colder. Anger. Not the kind that makes you scream, the kind that makes you think. I wasn't going to fight them. I wasn't going to walk in and make a scene. That would have been too easy. And honestly, too quick. I wanted them to feel it. Slowly. That's when I realized something. I didn't need to hurt them physically. I could do something worse. I could destroy their lives, without them even seeing it coming. So I started with something simple. I backed the car up just enough so I could still see the house, but stay out of sight. And then, I called her. Inside the house, I saw both of them freeze. Her phone lit up, my name on the screen. They looked at each other. Panic. Pure panic. She didn't answer. A few seconds passed. And then, they just went back to it. That was all I needed to see. So I called again. This time, she picked up. "Hey, is everything okay?" she asked. Her voice was shaky, trying way too hard to sound normal. I didn't say anything. I just hung up and got out of the alley. A minute later, she called me back. "Why are you calling so late?" she asked. And that's when I said it. Calm, controlled. "I'll be home in about 10 minutes. Just didn't want to scare you." Silence. Then suddenly, "Oh, that's amazing. I can't wait to see you." Fake. Completely fake. She rushed the call, said she was going to get ready, hung up quickly, and right on cue, the back door flew open. Harry ran out, half-dressed, panic all over his face. He jumped into his car and sped off like his life depended on it. I just sat there, watching him disappear. And for the first time that night, I smiled. Not because it was funny, but because I knew something they didn't. They thought they got away with it. But in reality, that was the moment everything ended for them. And everything started for me. Because that night, I didn't lose control. I made a plan. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in my home office, staring at the wall, replaying everything I saw, over and over again. My mom always taught me to be patient, to let things go, to trust that karma handles people like that. But this time, karma needed a little help. I wasn't going to explode. I wasn't going to confront them. I was going to take my time. Because when you act out of emotion, you make mistakes. And I couldn't afford mistakes. So I started thinking, not about what they did, but about who they were. Harry wasn't as clean as people thought. Let's just say, he had habits he kept very well hidden, things that could ruin his reputation overnight if they ever came to light. And Catherine, she cared about one thing more than anything else: how people saw her, her image, her reputation, her perfect life. That told me everything I needed to know. I didn't need to create chaos. I just needed to pull the right threads. Over the next few weeks, I kept everything normal on the surface. I smiled. I joked. I acted like nothing had changed. With her, with him, with everyone. And that was the hardest part. Sitting across from them, knowing exactly what they were doing behind my back. But that mask? That's what made everything possible. At the same time, I started quietly preparing my exit. I spoke to a lawyer, just to understand my position. No risks, no surprises. Turns out, we weren't legally tied in any way that could hurt me. That was important, because when I walked away, I wanted it to be clean. Around that time, something else happened. My company offered me a promotion, a big one, back in the city, less travel, more control, a fresh start, and, more importantly, perfect timing. I accepted. The move would take about 6 weeks. 6 weeks. That was more than enough. Then I set the next piece in motion. I talked to Harry at work, told him I was planning something special. That I wanted to surprise Catherine. He got excited immediately, congratulated me, even helped make it happen, which, honestly, made it even easier. That same night, I told Catherine I had a surprise for her. A full week away, luxury spa, all expenses covered. She could bring 2 friends. She was thrilled, didn't even question it. Why would she? To her, Everything was perfect. But there was one detail she didn't know. I wasn't going on that work trip I told her about. Not really. Instead, I was staying behind, watching, waiting, and making sure I had everything I needed. Because by the time she came back, her life wouldn't look the same anymore. From the outside, nothing had changed. If you asked anyone, friends, co-workers, even my family, they'd tell you everything was normal. I was still the same guy, still working, still traveling, still in a happy relationship. And Catherine, she believed it too. That was the scary part. Because while she thought everything was fine, I was already gone. Mentally, emotionally, I was just playing a role. Every morning, I'd wake up next to her like nothing ever happened. We'd talk, we'd laugh, we'd plan things, and every time she smiled at me, I had to remind myself what I saw that night, because for a split second, it almost felt real again. That's how dangerous comfort is. It makes you forget the truth. But I didn't forget. Not even for a second. Instead, I started paying attention. Details, patterns, timing. When she was on her phone, when she left the room, when she suddenly got busy. And the more I watched, the clearer everything became. She wasn't even trying that hard to hide it anymore. Late-night messages, random excuses, unexplained gaps in her day. And then there was him, Harry. At work, he acted exactly the same. Joking around, talking business, calling me brother, like nothing ever happened. But once you see something like that, you can't unsee it. Every word felt fake. Every laugh felt forced. And the craziest part? They both thought they were being careful. They weren't. They were predictable. And predictability is a weakness. That's when I realized something important. I didn't need to rush. The longer I waited, the more they exposed themselves. So I gave them space. More work trips. More time alone. More opportunities to feel safe. And they took every single one. Meanwhile, I started putting other pieces together. I secured a storage unit. Started quietly moving things that mattered to me. Documents. Personal stuff. Anything I didn't want caught in the fallout. Little by little, my life was leaving that house, and she had no idea. At the same time, I made a small upgrade to the house. Security system, cameras, nothing unusual. At least, that's how it looked. We even had a technician come in and explain everything. How it worked, how to turn things on and off. She asked a question that caught my attention. What if we don't want certain things recorded? I acted like it was a normal question, because to anyone else, it would be. But I knew exactly why she asked. The technician showed us how to disable the cameras. Simple, quick, private, perfect. But after he finished, I asked him something else. Is there a way to get notified if the system is turned off? Just in case, he said yes. Set it up in a few minutes, and just like that, I had what I needed. Because now, I wouldn't just suspect anything, I'd know. Days passed, then weeks, and one by one, the notifications started coming in. Every time I was out of town, the system would go dark. For a few hours, sometimes longer, and every time that happened, I already knew who was inside that house. I didn't confront her. I didn't say a word. Because the truth was, this wasn't about catching them anymore. I already did that. Now, it was about timing, and making sure that when everything fell apart, it fell apart all at once. No warning, no recovery, just consequences. At some point, it stopped hurting. Not because I healed, but because I already knew the truth. And once you truly accept something, it loses the power to shock you. That's when everything became clinical. No more emotions, just observation. The notifications kept coming. System offline. System offline. System offline. Always when I was away. Always late at night. At first, I didn't even check. I already knew what I'd find. But eventually, I had to see it. Not for closure, for proof. So one night during a trip, I opened the system remotely. And there it was. My house, dark, quiet, then movement, the back door. They didn't even bother using the front anymore. Harry walked in like he owned the place. Like it was normal. Like I didn't exist. A few minutes later, Catherine followed. Comfortable. Relaxed. No fear. No hesitation. Like this wasn't the first time. Like this was routine. I sat there, watching everything unfold in silence. No anger, no reaction. Just recording. Because that's all I needed now. Moments, patterns, evidence. And the more I watched, the worse it got. They laughed, cooked together, sat on the couch, like a couple. In my house. That hit different. Not the betrayal itself, but how normal it looked. Like I had already been replaced before I even left. That's when I understood something. This wasn't a mistake. This was a choice. Repeated. Over and over again. Days turned into weeks. And I kept collecting. Not obsessively. Not constantly. Just enough. Enough to tell the full story. Enough to make sure there was no way to deny it. At the same time, their confidence grew. They stayed longer, came earlier, stopped being careful, because in their minds, they had control. And people who think they're in control make the biggest mistakes. Meanwhile, my move date was getting closer. Boxes were packed. Documents were ready. Everything important was already out of the house. The life I had built there was gone. All that was left was the illusion, and they were living inside it. That's when I decided it was time, not to confront them, but to start the chain reaction, because up until now, everything I did was preparation. What came next was execution, and once it started, there was no going back. Once I decided to act, everything became very simple. No more hesitation, no more second thoughts, just timing. Because the truth is, you don't need a perfect plan. You just need the right moment. And I had it. By that point, I knew their routines better than they did. When he showed up, when she let him in, how long he stayed, it was predictable. So I waited. And then, one night, everything lined up. I was out of town. She was home, and, like clockwork, he showed up. Same car, same alley, same back entrance. Nothing new, except this time, I didn't just watch. I picked up my phone, and I made a call. Not dramatic, not emotional, calm. I reported suspicious activity near my house. A car, late at night, unusual behavior. I didn't accuse anyone directly. I didn't need to. I just gave enough information for someone else to get involved. Then I hung up and waited. Minutes later, I saw movement. Harry came out first, fast. Way too fast for someone who had nothing to hide. Half-dressed. Looking around. Panic. Real panic. He jumped into his car and took off. And that's when it happened. A police car turned into the street, right behind him. At first, he didn't notice. Then he did. And instead of slowing down, he sped up. That was a mistake, a big one. Because now, it wasn't just a random check. Now it looked like he was running. And once you start running, you've already lost. I watched from a distance as the lights came on behind him, blue and red, lighting up the entire street. For a moment, I just sat there, quiet, listening to my own breathing, not smiling, not celebrating, just watching. Because this wasn't the end. This was just the beginning. I went inside later that night. Catherine acted normal. Too normal. Like nothing happened. Like she didn't just rush someone out of my house minutes earlier. We talked, we laughed, and the whole time, she had no idea what was already in motion. The next morning, things started to shift. Messages, calls, tension at work. Something had happened. Not everything. Not yet. But enough. To crack the surface. And once something cracks, it never really goes back to the way it was. I didn't ask questions. I didn't need to. Because I already knew. This was only going to get worse. For them, by the next day, it wasn't rumors anymore. It was real. Harry didn't show up again. No calls, no messages, nothing. And this time, no one was making excuses for him. Because now, people knew. Not everything, but enough. Enough for management to act. Around midday, we were all called into a short meeting. Nothing detailed, nothing official. Just one simple announcement. Harry will no longer be with the company. That was it. No explanation. No discussion. But the silence in that room said everything. Because everyone understood what that meant. In a corporate environment, you don't get removed that fast. Unless something serious happened. Really serious. And just like that, his career was over. Years of building a reputation. Gone in a day. After the meeting, nobody said much. But you could feel it. The shift. People distancing themselves. Deleting numbers. Avoiding his name. Because no one wants to be associated with someone. Once things go bad, that's how it works. Loyalty disappears. Quick. By the afternoon, the story had already evolved again. Now there was talk about evidence. About things being found. About this not being just a mistake. And once that narrative starts, it writes itself. I stayed quiet, did my job, answered emails, sat through meetings, like it had nothing to do with me, because on the surface, it didn't. But inside, I knew exactly what was happening. This wasn't bad luck, this was momentum, and once it builds, it doesn't slow down. Later that evening, I got a call, private number. I almost didn't pick up, but I did. It was him, Harry. His voice wasn't the same. Gone was that confidence, that control. Now it was shaky, tense. Hey, man, we need to talk. I didn't answer right away, let the silence sit there. Then I said, about what? Another pause, longer this time. I think I'm in serious trouble. I leaned back in my chair, calm, cold. What kind of trouble? He hesitated, like he didn't even know where to start. They found things. In my car. At my place. I don't even know how. He stopped himself. Because deep down, he knew. Not how it got there. But why things were falling apart. His breathing got heavier. Look, I don't know what's going on, but people are saying stuff. Work. The police. I might need help. Help. That word hung there. Because not that long ago, I would have helped him without thinking. No questions asked. But that was before. Before the kitchen. Before the lies. Before everything. so I kept my voice neutral. Yeah, that sounds bad. That's it. No sympathy, no support. Just distance. He waited, probably expecting more. He didn't get it. After a few seconds, he spoke again. If you hear anything, just let me know, okay? Sure, I said, and that was the end of it. The call ended, and just like that, so did whatever was left of our friendship. Not with a fight, not with a confrontation, just silence. I put my phone down, sat there for a moment, and realized something. This was it. He was done. Not officially, not completely, but the direction was clear. There was no coming back from this, not in that town, not with that reputation. And the worst part, it wasn't even over yet, because while his life was falling apart, she still had no idea what was coming. While his world was falling apart, hers was just getting started. The trip, the one I planned, the one she was so excited about. A full week away, luxury spa, perfect weather, no responsibilities. She talked about it for days. What she'd pack, which friends she'd bring, what they'd do every single day. And I listened, smiled, nodded, like a good partner would. Because to her, that's exactly who I still was. The guy who cared. The guy who planned surprises. The guy who trusted her. And that illusion, that was the most important part of everything. The morning she left, she hugged me like nothing was wrong. Long, warm, familiar. For a second, I almost forgot everything again. Almost. "Thank you for this," she said. I looked at her and just smiled. "You deserve it." And in a way, that was true, just not for the reasons she thought. A taxi pulled up. Her friends were already inside, excited, loud, happy. She grabbed her bag, turned back one last time, and waved. I waved back. And then she was gone. Just like that. The house went quiet. No voices, no movement, just silence. For the first time in a long time, I was completely alone there, and it didn't feel sad. It felt clear, like everything unnecessary had been removed. I walked through the house slowly. Living room, kitchen, hallway. Every place had a memory. Some good, some not anymore. Then I stopped. In the kitchen, the same spot. Yeah, that one. I stood there for a moment, then just shook my head and moved on. No anger left, no pain, just purpose. Because now, there were no distractions. This was the window I needed. No interruptions, no questions. Just time. Time to finish everything I started. I made a call. A friend of mine, logistics, moving, that kind of thing. Told him I needed help packing and moving some items. Fast, quiet. He didn't ask questions, just gave me a time. Then I started sorting things. Not everything, just hers. Clothes, personal items, everything she brought into that house. Box by box, carefully, almost respectfully. Because this wasn't about anger anymore. This was about closure and control. By the end of the day, most of her life was already packed up, and she had no idea. Meanwhile, my phone kept lighting up. Pictures, videos, messages from her. Laughing with friends, at the pool, at dinner, captioned things like, "Best week ever." Can't believe this is real. I needed this so much. I looked at every single one. Not with jealousy, not with regret, just observation. Because the truth was, she really believed it, that everything in her life was perfect, that she was loved, that she was safe, and that when she came back, everything would still be there waiting for her. But it wouldn't, because by the time she got on that plane, everything she knew would already be gone. By the end of the week, everything was ready. The house was empty. Not completely, but enough. Everything that mattered to me was gone. Everything that mattered to her was packed, labeled, stored, out of sight. No chaos, no mess, just absence. I arranged for the house to be cleaned, deep cleaned, like wiping away the past. Then I set up one last detail, a sign, for rent, right in front of the house, visible, impossible to miss, because this wasn't just leaving, this was erasing. I made one final stop before I left town. Becky. She had been Rachel's closest friend growing up, one of the few people I still trusted. She didn't know everything, but she knew enough. I handed her an envelope. Inside, everything Catherine would need. A letter, documents, instructions on how to collect her belongings, and proof. Not for revenge, for truth. If she ever tried to deny it. Becky looked at me, concerned. "You sure about this?" she asked. I nodded. "Yeah, I'm done." No anger, no hesitation. Just certainty. I said goodbye, and then I left. No dramatic exit, no final look back. Just drove away. And that was it. 4 years ended without a word. A few days later, my phone exploded. Missed calls, messages, voicemails, all from her. It started with confusion. "Where are you? Why is the house empty? What is going on?" Then panic. "I went to your parents. They won't talk to me. Please answer. I don't understand." And finally, anger. A lot of it. Accusations, blame, denial, and one message. That said everything. "You set him up, didn't you?" I stared at the screen for a moment. Then I put the phone down. Didn't reply, because there was nothing left to say. She already knew the truth. She just didn't want to accept it. Later, I heard what happened. She went to Becky, got the envelope, everything inside, and just like that, her world collapsed too. In a small town, things don't stay private. People talk, and once they do, reputation doesn't just crack, it shatters. From what I was told, she didn't stay long after that. Packed what she could, left the state, started over somewhere else. As for Harry, his situation didn't improve. Legal trouble, lost job, lost reputation, and no one standing next to him anymore, not even her.
So, yeah, that's the story. People always ask me the same thing. Do you regret it? No, I don't. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I didn't destroy anything in the moment. I just stepped back and let everything fall into place. Did I go too far? Maybe. But here's the truth. They made their choices. I just made mine. And sometimes, walking away isn't enough. Sometimes, you need to make sure there's nothing left to go back to. So tell me, what would you have done?